Jon Hamm takes over for one of Chevy Chase's iconic 80s roles. Let's talk about Confess, Fletch. Hey guys, Dan here. This is Dan Reviews It. Welcome to my spoiler-free review for the new film Confess, Fletch. This is in select cities right now. It only went to about 500 theaters, but you can also get it on demand currently. You can do that, whole pay $20 to rent it thing that they've been doing since the pandemic. Or I understand it's going to be on Showtime and the Showtime streaming service at the end of October. So a couple of different ways to watch this movie, and eventually I'm sure it'll be on DVD and stuff too, if it is not playing in a theater near you. And like I mentioned up top, Jon Hamm takes over for the Chevy Chase role, of course, from Fletch, and then Fletch Lives, which was the sequel. But the character is based in some 70s books by Gregory MacDonald. So Chevy Chase did not originate the character, but of course he certainly made it into something that we all remember from the 80s. So big shoes to fill, and they've been trying to work this movie out for a long time. Before we get into the specifics of this film and my review, I do want to welcome you into Dan Reviews It. Thank you for finding this video. We've got tons of movie and TV reviews on the channel that you can check out, and if you'd like to subscribe, we'd love that as well. Or comment below with your thoughts on this movie or the Chevy Chase Fletch or whatever you want to talk about. Always love hearing from you guys in the comments. And then if you wait till the end of the video, I'll give you my final grade for this movie after I kind of discuss it a little bit for you. But yeah, like I said, this has been in the works with various different people for a long time. Jason Sudeikis at one point was talked about to revive it, which makes sense to me. Both him and Chevy Chase, SNL alumni. Sudeikis has sort of that snark going on with a lot of his characters, so that makes sense. But Jon Hamm, he's got that as well, in especially his comedic roles. And the director here, Greg Mottola, has worked with Jon Hamm before in a couple of projects, but he's maybe best known for directing Superbad and Adventureland, which are movies sort of in that kind of snarky comedy type of vein. So it all makes sense. And this particular film is based on the second novel in the series, which was also called Confess, Fletch. Fletch Lives, the Chevy Chase second movie, was not based on anything. I think there's like 7 or 8 books. And the first Fletch, I guess, was based on the first book. But then Fletch Lives was just kind of a new script idea based on the character, so it didn't really take from any of the books. So the basic plot here is that this guy, Erwin Fletcher, comes home in this sort of Airbnb that he's using and finds a dead body. He calls the police, and then he becomes one of the main suspects in not only that, but other murders around, and there's some stolen art involved that he's looking to get back. So the detectives here, played by Roy Wood Jr. from The Daily Show, and I guess Lorena Izzo is the other one. But you've also got Kyle MacLachlan in this movie, John Slattery, which is Jon Hamm's old Mad Men buddy, Lucy Punch, Marcia Gay Harden in a surprisingly I wouldn't say bad performance, but just off. Usually when you see Marcia Gay Harden, she's like kind of right on the money, and she does sort of that ball-busting woman character very, very well. She's done it in so many movies and TV shows over the years. And here, I don't know if it's the accent that she's putting on or what, but it fell a bit flat for me. But I have to say, it's one of the few things in the movie that did fall flat. I really, really like Jon Hamm in this role. I think he is just perfect for it. And I have to admit, I'm not the biggest Chevy Chase fan. I do think he's funny, and he's, certainly got some performances that I can dig. But I have known for, 25 or so years now that he's just kind of a jerk, and most people in Hollywood don't really care for him. Long before all the Community drama when he was on that TV show. But, when he had his talk show in the 90s for, a month and a half or something, or 2 months, he found it hard to get guests because, nobody really liked him in the business. And that's sort of when I learned, oh, this guy's kind of a jerk off. So I have seen the original Fletch one time when I was much younger, so it was on VHS, but it was probably in the late 80s, maybe early 90s. I've never seen Fletch Lives, so I don't have the attachment to this character that I think a lot of people my age probably do. or even a little bit older, because this was sort of, other than Clark Griswold from the Vacation movies, I would say Fletch is probably his most iconic character. But again, let's remember he didn't originate it. It is from a book. And I think the Jon Hammness of this movie, it works very, very well. However, I do think in some respects the script was maybe a little tailor-made in spots for more of a Chevy Chase kind of take on it. Jon Hamm doesn't do the disguise thing. He does fast talk a bit, and he's got the different aliases and stuff. So there are definitely, you could see why both of these men were chosen for this role. But it took me a couple of scenes to really identify this as Jon Hamm's version of Fletch. The first few scenes, maybe not even the first scene, but maybe the second scene or the fourth scene. There's a couple of scenes towards the beginning where I'm like, all right, this is not quite matching what I saw in the first scene, that kind of thing in terms of the delivery and stuff. But I think by maybe 20 minutes into the movie, we are firmly like, okay, yes, this guy is Fletch. I love it for him, and it's really working out. So in that respect, I appreciate and I approve of this casting choice. Although Sudeikis would have been good as well. Some of the other names I heard, maybe not so much, but this movie's hilarious too. If you dig that sort of snarky humor, the fast talking, dry humor that you do get from Jon Hamm, Jason Sudeikis, Ryan Reynolds, Jason Bateman. There's a whole host of them now that sort of do that deadpan, dry delivery, and pull it off very well. And I think Jon Hamm was one of them. So I think it worked great for this movie. It's funny. I will say I think the mystery, the main mystery anyway, probably ties up a little bit too quickly. And I'm not sure that it took me completely by surprise, which I think maybe a murder mystery should do a little bit more. But overall, I thought this was a really, really great start to what could possibly be a nice long reign for this character in a new series. But I have to say I'm a little bit baffled by the choice of putting it in so few theaters and putting it mostly on demand, not really promoting it at all. Until Tuesday or Wednesday, which was 3 days before it came out, I didn't realize it was coming out. I had heard that it was coming sometime this year. And then my friend said, hey, can you believe Fletch is coming out? They haven't promoted it. I said, no, I can't believe it's coming out because I haven't heard word one about it. It's not been on any ads that I've seen or anything like that. And it wasn't even on Box Office Mojo as a movie in theaters until the day before its release. So for whatever reason, they're sort of putting this under the radar, sweeping it under the rug, whatever. I think it's a shame because it's one of the funniest movies I've seen all year. Really, really enjoyable. And I do hope that we get a sequel. I hope we get a franchise out of this with Jon Hamm at the helm. So I give Confess Fletch a B+. Thanks for watching. I'll see you all next time on Dan Reviews It. Bye.